So today is just going to be me doing a quick cleanup on the shed. It badly needs it after the winter. As you can see, there's a project here that hasn't been touched. There's a few different things that need to be done. So I'm going to have a quick smoke with you guys. I do apologize if I'm sounding a bit odd. I'm a bit sniffly. This is one of the things I do to myself when I'm feeling sick. When I start to feel like I'm recovering, I do physical activity. Generally a little more than I probably should. You can already hear me being a bit winded. There's the asshole moment for you. But I think it's probably tied to my immune system. I find that like this illness has knocked Stormy down for, what is it, 3 or 4 days now, I think. And oh, let me get live chat up, make sure it's, yeah, all messages. And oh, I got a like, thank you, baby. I assume that's Stormy liked the stream. And yeah, please, hi Primed, how you doing? Please do like, share, subscribe, send it out. And yeah, I was just saying, Primed, how this illness that makes that's got Stormy and her kids knocked down really bad, and actually knocked my mother down for, I think, 3 or 4 days. I was sick from Saturday, Saturday morning? No, probably late Saturday evening to really this morning. So, and really, I was active yesterday. I did some driving, things like that. Prime says he's good, tired as crap. Hope it's not a late flu. You know, into every life, a little rain must fall, or snot, as the case may be. Speaking of, give me just a moment. I've got to blow my nose. And as you can see, I am in fact wearing my favorite pullover hoodie, which is my Free Kekistan hoodie for the memes and for the meme veterans. Just 1 second now. And I do apologize for the noise you're about to hear. And I will point out, one of the downsides of having such a luscious mustache as I'm sporting these days is that you had to be extremely careful not to leave snots in it when you blow your nose. Okay. Now, I see somebody said something. Stormy's there with a swollen throat, fever, and full of snot. Yeah, sexy. You're always beautiful, though, honey. Anyway, yeah, all I'm going to be doing today is just, I'm going to turn the camera around in a little bit, put it back by this cabinet, which is pretty much on the back wall. And I'm going to be doing a bit of a gut on the shed. I've got a set of tires that had to be moved. Those will simply be put outside. And then I have, as you saw in the thumbnail, there's some wood that needs to be organized. I've got some more wood here that you'll see in a moment. You know, it's like a trumpet, but it's so out of tune, and I keep trying, and I just can't get the thing to give me a solid note. Yeah, with a schnoz like mine, I'm gonna blow a note, so. Yeah, this is going to be a fairly easy day. I'm actually going to put the cigarette out for a little bit. This is a little bit of a foghorn. Hey, I don't do these live streams so you assholes can make fun of me. I swear. But just to show you, this is just a little block of wood that I bugger with on occasion. I've done some burns. I've done some... this is a bit of burn and some work with my little rotary tool. But in the middle, this hole here does not go all the way through, and that's actually, I'll just show you really quick here. And most people have seen these by now, these little snuffers. You just drop your cigarette in there. Wait 4 or 5 seconds. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and it's out. Completely out. And just to demonstrate, you don't actually have to push them down. I have an aunt who had a habit of driving the cigarette down into the snuffer, which is kind of counterproductive. So that will sit for a while. I'll cap off my ashtray jar, which is getting full, and move a few things around, and then I'm going to work. Let me see if I've got any comments I need to answer. No, it's a wooden shed that my brother actually built, and it was moved to my folks' property, and I've kind of taken it over for my workshop because it was being unused for anything other than a little bit of storage and keeping a motorcycle in. Once my brother moved, it essentially became where I sat to smoke. So over time, I've decided I need to start doing some work. Morning. Oh, aloha, Blackout. Nice to see you. Prime Knight says he does something similar with cigars when he doesn't have time to smoke the whole thing. He uses an upturned pot and a plate to choke the embers. Not a bad idea. With cigars, as I understand it, because the flavor is such a big deal, it might actually be an idea to clip the end. Let me see. Blackout says he misses having a garage. I'm often wondering where you do your work because it looks sometimes like it's outdoors, sometimes like it might be in a carport almost. I personally couldn't stand to do the work you do with all those fumes and do it in an enclosed area, which would probably be an explosion hazard the way I smoke. So anyway, guys, I'm going to turn the camera around a little bit, and I'm going to work. And before we start, do please like, share, subscribe. Well, you guys are all subscribed. Oh, it's on his patio out in the open. Wow, that must be. You must have a lot of low wind days. We don't get a lot of those in Newfoundland. Speaking of which, I actually have to find a day now when I change my mother's tires. Her tires are still on. We're well after Sheila's brush at this point. And I have to get the winter tires off the car and switch the summer tires on. But when I take the winter rims off, I'm going to give them a good scrub and give them another coat of rust lad. It's just a flat black, but it worked for, I believe it was a couple of winters. So for $20 a can, and I use maybe 2 cans, it's better than having to buy new rims. Anyway, let's get this party started, shall we? And I'll have to close a little bit. Now, the good thing about it is today is a very sunny day here in Newfoundland. Yeah, the wind's not too bad there. Prime says he's been thinking that when he gets a house, get a shipping container to do storage and tool shack. I think storage containers will be too narrow for what I do. This room is, I believe, 18 by 12, or maybe even only. See here, it might only be 18 by 9, 18 by 8. It's really kind of small for what I do, and that's why a lot of the time you'll see me take tools outside to do work on, like the table saw, things like that. But other than that, I've got a few little piddling things I have to do first. That door with all the clamps on it, over the winter I had that tarped in, and I had staple gunned the tarp up. Stormy was actually here when I did that, and she will attest that I did it in a hell of a hurry because the snow and the wind were coming in. So one of the first things I have to do is get that door open, pull that tarp out, pull the staples that have come out of the wall out of the tarp. Then I had to get the rest of the staples out of the wall, so that's going to be probably the first half hour or so. And of course, like an idiot, I've lost track of my gloves. Oh, there they are. Okay. So, just to show you guys some of the stuff that I've picked up, there's a lot of reclaimed wood here, which came off of, believe it or not, this is all from one pallet. And I'll just show you that really quick. So this whole pile here is all from one pallet. Now, obviously, not all of it is going to be good. Some of it had to be smacked with a hammer to get it to work properly, or to get it loose. Some of it still had, none of this has nails in it. That box right there has some scraps, some nails, some good-sized blocks in it. I've got to work the nails out of that stuff so that I can run it through different processes. Let me see. Oh, and of course now the chat won't run properly. Let's see. Wind's not too bad here. Always blowing a gale here. Yeah, it's usually pretty windy here in Newfoundland. That was a fun night. Yeah, I imagine it was. Blackout says he's in a valley and 400 miles south. Yeah, you're in Ontario, I think, aren't you? I don't think you're actually that far south in terms of latitude. Let me see. Prime, the summer home my father used to have was in a deep valley. Even on the warmest and driest summer days, it was humid. Yeah, because humid air sits lower. Oh, you're in Idaho. I thought you were in Ontario for some reason. Yeah, you are way the hell south of me. Are you involved with that Greater Idaho movement at all? I'm wondering what's happening with that. Especially now Portland has decided to decriminalize homeless camping on your lawn. Anyway, I'll be back in a few minutes. Are still up there. That's good. Now, starting with, take that box out. Hello. Okay. Yeah, spread that out. Staple. Pardon, staple. So that's the wall cleared out. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let me see here. I always hear that as Idaho. That's exactly how it sounds, to be fair. He says he grew up next to Ontario, Oregon. I didn't know there was an Ontario in Oregon. I did know there was one in California. And you're in Boise. My version of a tease show. With all my big hard wood. Yeah. Okay. So this part's going to be kind of boring because I'm going to be out there spreading out that tarp and looking for staples. Fuck yeah. settle for that. There we go. Okay. Now, should have, there we are. So, that's the tarp dealt with, and all the staples out of the wall. Oh, and, whew. I am somewhat pale. I guess I should have been aware of that. And being ginger, I don't tan particularly well. There is some French blood in my lineage, though, so if I get enough sunburns, I will eventually darken. But it's more akin to, how to put it, browned chicken than it is any really good human flesh tone. There we go. And there's our wind blocking tarp all set up for next winter. I just had to find somewhere to store it for now, until I have room to get at these shelves and put some things up there. What's being said here? Excuse me. Let me see, I look like a ghost in that light. Oh, that's Stormy actually pointed that out. Yeah. Prime says maybe need a polarized lens. I probably could have put some sort of filter on this thing, I wonder. Save highlight, share, mute microphone. No, there's no... Oh, it's good to know I can mute when I go to blow my nose now. Let me see. Blackout says they're about to start stocking the lakes with trout. Stormy says she wishes that was done. Oh, it's rainbow they're going to stock it with. Smoked rainbow sounds good, yeah. Lots of fish farms in Idaho. One would not expect that. If I recall correctly, Idaho is pretty much landlocked. Let me see. Prime Knight says he has a constant farmer's tan. He doesn't know why. I would say that you probably wear a lot of t-shirts. And if you have high wind, you're probably getting windburn. I've been known to get windburn. Let's see. Stormy says she tans really well. Stormy has much more French in her background than I do. Blackout says he got a good sunburn this week. I'm just itchy now. I can sunburn in 5-10 minutes if the UV level is high enough. It's pretty low UV today, so I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. For my next trick, and at some point today I will have to sweep the floor. I threw as many staples as I could back into the shed. Yeah, my dome does burn really quick. And it doesn't help that I keep forgetting to put my hat or my bandanas on. But yeah, at some point, probably the last thing I'll do today is actually sweep the floor. There's a lot of garbage, cigarette packs, things like that on the floor. So, yeah, none of that is conducive to safe working conditions. And since I haven't done any real amount of work in here yet this year, that's going to be something that needs to be done. And now that I'm looking at it, I really wish I'd actually spread out that box of wood scrap on the tarp, because that would be a good way to get that tarp flattened. But it is what it is at this point. Let's see, what else do I need to do? Okay, I'm just going to start in that corner and work my way around until I feel like not doing anymore. And I'll try to keep my hawking and spitting to a minimum, and outdoors, because, well, that's what a good person does. It's nice to see that you can't see my my neighbor's yard too well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the day, is just move things out, clear things up, move things back. I don't need these things weighing my pants down anymore. Ooh, that was close. For those of you who didn't see it, I just smacked the end of that board off the light bulb. Oh, Primed, if you're still here, if you guys can hear me, Primed, you'll be interested to know that I'm going to be working on some Western-style bowken in the next little while. Serious staples in that. I've got a design that I came up with when I was in college doing the cabinet making program. That it's essentially a Western version of a bowken. So right now I have one that I did as a proof of concept, my shame board. Did as proof of concept a while ago, which turned out really well, but it was a little too thin and the wood was too soft to make an effective sparring tool. So I'm going to probably use, I've got some hickory here. These are axe handles, and what I'll probably do is make some slightly more bowken shaped pieces out of these. And these are probably going to be, I'm thinking arming sword length about there. But if I can find some good pieces of hickory, I will attempt to make, and that's going to be in the future once I have a router, I'll be attempting to make a proper Western style bowken out of hickory at great sword and long sword lengths. What's in here? Nothing. Excellent. That box is now storage. For those of you who don't know, that's the box from my sander, which I got a few months ago. Thank you, love. Right here is the bandsaw that is not put together yet. That'll probably go in this corner once all this is done and dealt with. What else do I have to do? I also have a planer that I have to put together. So all three of those items needs, well, I don't know about the bandsaw. I think the bandsaw might be a floor, floor stable. I'll probably have to put some sort of light platform under that to keep it stable because the flooring in here is not the best. But other than that, I'll have to make stands for the other two items, or the other the other two, yeah. And that'll be another Woodworking Wednesday sort of deal. Now, oh, I found another staple. Because of course I did. There. Let's see, where did I see you? You're up there. Okay. Oh, is that a piece of, that's a piece of a staple. That's got to come out. Where are you? There you are. Some on the floor. Okay. And just to explain what I was just doing, I'm making sure I have every piece of staple out of that archway, because I do intend to try to sell from here at some point. And I don't want members of the public coming in, happening to lean against something and stab themselves in the arm, have to go get a tetanus shot, for example. It's bad customer service. Okay, that's one corner clear. Now, I'm going to disappear for a few minutes. When I come back, I'm going to sit down, have the rest of that cigarette, and chat with you guys again. I have to go and put some things in the other shed. Well, you can really hear how sick I am, given how fast I get winded right now. Oh, fuck you, glove. Come here. Just hung the gloves up to let them cool off a bit. I don't putting on sweaty gloves. Whew. Making patties and pan frying leftovers. That must be potato cakes. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit better, so I look a little more centered. Oh, which, if anybody who's seen my For Fuck's Sakes Friday knows, centered is not something I generally tend to be. Let's see. What did I miss in chat? Head sunburns fucking suck. Yes, they do. Need a fishing or sun hat. Also true. Yeah, get me a nice straw bonnet. I'd look so cute. Let's see. Easy to make with natural. I think the word you're looking for there is preservative. They'll last more than one summer. All from me. LOL. Let's see. What dimensions are those wheels? They look large. Let me think. I can tell you the lugs on them are 22 millimeters. Those are SUV tires. Yeah, I don't like aluminum rims either. I worked as a tire change guy for a bit. I dropped one rim and it just folded like paper. The cat is gone. Let's dance on the table and shit in the coffee. What? Was there a cat? It wouldn't surprise me, but was there a cat? Dance time. Lapskaus. Lapskaus. Sounds like a rabbit. Oh, it's corned beef hash, basically, is what we call it. Yep. And Stormy pointed out, she makes volcanoes. Classified as survival food, but we eat it often in Scandinavia. It's very, very common in Newfoundland as well. Let's see. Oh, and she makes yeah, Stormy says she sounds like a dude right now. She doesn't. She has a lovely, and she's a little raspier than usual, but she sounds more like one of those whiskey-soaked singers than she does like a dude, to be fair. I see I've got 4 guys watching. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Let me see if I can remember. That'll be Stormy, Primed, Total Blackout, and who's the 4th? I don't know. Somebody is being lurky. As someone who's been a lurker many times in the... I went and lit a new smoke. As someone who's been a lurker many times in the past, I appreciate and approve. Unless you're a YouTube reviewer, in which case, make yourself known in chat so I can say hello and we can talk about some of the issues I have with YouTube. That would be a very bad choice. Ooh. Yeah, I am a little winded, a little sweaty. Cold sweat, actually, which is interesting. That's me just sweating the sickness out at this point. But, you know, it's good for you. Oh, you guys will recognize this thing. I'm pretty sure this thing is all the way done in. But I'm going to take it apart, tighten it up again. The bar seems to slip back a little bit, probably because I was driving with it a little. I was kind of pushing a little bit. One of the things I don't like about it is that, in my opinion, the safety screen should not flop. Let me see. Stormy says she just took her temperature. She's 102.1. Yay, yeah. For those of you wondering, that's in Fahrenheit. She's hot, but she's not that hot. Let me see. Yeah, I might lose fingers, but I need it done tool. Yeah. Yeah, that little mini saw attachment for my drill worked way better than I expected it to. And I'm looking forward to using it again at some point. I do have another pallet at Stormy's that needs to be, yeah, it's in Freedom Units. I do have another pallet left at Stormy's that needs to be torn apart. I'm thinking, because it's one of the ones that has those heavy, long, solid pieces, I may simply use the chainsaw. I'll give you guys a heads up as well. We have a bunch of flycatchers. There was a flycatcher had actually nested in a scrapped step beside the shed a couple of winters ago, or not winters, sorry, a couple of springs ago, and they're very common in this area. It's not unknown for them to fly into the shed. Usually they only come a little ways in. Where I'm talking, I doubt they're going to come in very far, or at all, to be honest. Yeah, that's almost 39 degrees fever. Yeah, it's not good. If you get to 40, hun, you go to the hospital. I think it's 41 is where you start to convulse. That's not good. Ironically, as someone who has thyroid disease, I tend to run hotter than usual, and have repeatedly been offered anti-fever medications. Just from walking into an emergency room or going to a regular doctor's appointment where they take your temperature and check your heart rate and things like that. They check your vitals before your appointment here. And there's been a few times I've been offered something for fever, even though I don't have one. At 40, you can get delirious, yeah. Well, I mean, it's Stormy. She must be slightly delirious. She's dating me. No, no, that's self-deprecating humor, which I use in order to keep my towering ego in check because I'm so awesome. Let's see. So that corner is clear. The next step now is to get the planer. Stormy dislikes her plague rats. Yeah, we've got a new nickname on Stormy's kids, the Plague Rat Brigade. But the next step now, I'm going to get the bandsaw box into that corner. There's a few pieces of scrap wood that have to come out of there. At some point, I'm going to have to build a rack to put my scrap wood on, which I don't know where I'm going to put that. It will probably end up on the wall here in front of the windows, which I really don't like. Actually, if I can manage it, I may put it in this corner and take this cabinet out of there. I don't use that cabinet a lot. But I've got a bunch of, as you can see, I've got to clear off those two benches. Oh, there we go. So I've got to get those two benches, a task probably for today. But the first thing I'm going to do once I get up here now is get the bandsaw and the planer boxes into that corner, get them ready to get set up. Excuse me. Twice. Let me see. The horned rat is spreading plague. Yeah. Fortunately, the kids are old enough that they don't absolutely need you every second of the day. But, yeah, it kind of sucks that I'm an hour's drive away and I can't do anything for you either. That said, could be worse. Because it could always be worse. Let me see. Yeah, not a lot else going on. Anybody has any questions? Let me know. You know how I do these. These are always eternal AMAs anyway. What else is going on today? I've got a sheet up there that has to come down. A yard sale sign. Yeah, there's a few things here that need to be gotten rid of, which is going to be the first yard sale of the year, most likely, which should be next month. Usually it's the off time for the schools. Stormy says she's making homemade chicken noodle soup. Prime says his uncle was sick with his wife when both their kids are barely 3 and 5. Kids had the flu. They have flu. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I'm years ago. Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't say terrified, but I'm generally concerned about me getting sick because, well, it should be a concern for any man because you should have people who depend on you, at least somewhat. Let's see. Have I had enough of a break yet? I think so. I'm going to go find some water, and I'll be back. So you guys can enjoy the lovely scenery for a bit. Let me get my camera repositioned properly. And there you go. And I'll tip the camera down just on the off chance there happens to be a bird fly into the door here. You may see a squirrel as well. There was one around last year. Other than that, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to sit down for another couple of minutes. Mostly just because I need to rest my knees. I have horribly bad knees. And that's been a problem I've been dealing with since I was a teenager. But I did want to make it clear to you guys too that, you know, this is not the end goal. The end goal is to have my own shop where I can actually have what amounts to a cabinet making shop setup. You're basically in on the bottom floor at this point, watching me start from the bottom. And yeah, it's probably going to be a long slog, but I really appreciate you guys being here for it. The support. I mean, I've got 224 subs. Sasquatch, hi, nice to see you. Let's see, he's late, not the other thing. Okay, Prime says he was watching their cat during the time his uncle was sick. The Ardent Carpentry Company will actually be off-the-wall woodcraft, which is the not website, but email I use for sales. And I do apologize to Sasquatch for not tapping my cigarette on the camera. This is one I'd already had lit, and it snuffed a while ago. But like I said, I do appreciate you guys being here and supporting me. I have 224 subscribers, and that blows me away. I'm forever grateful about that. The thing of it is, right now, a lot of my stuff, with the exception of the few tools I've bought new, like this sander just behind my thumb, and the bandsaw and the planer, other than those few tools, almost everything else I have is either hand-me-down or secondhand in some fashion. And while it's not the best gear, it is sufficient to start doing what I love to do, which is working on woodwork. And I mean, a lot of it is going to be craft level for the first little while. And I'll probably always do some sort of little craft level stuff. I've got a few different pieces here that I intend to turn into things like jewelry boxes, like the jewelry box you guys would have watched on my Twitter as I was putting it together. My Twitter, by the way, the original one, the True Ardent Party, that's been shut down. It's permanently suspended because I suggested that calling a child molester the 6-letter F slur, regardless of what gender they are or identify as, is a valid thing to do. It may have had something to do with the fact that body armor won't stop a wood chipper. I may have said something slightly inflammatory there. But you guys have watched Sultans. You know my opinion about nonsense. Sasquatch says his YouTube is as dead as an incel's basement. That's unfortunate. I do keep catching a few of your pieces here and there, but with the busy life I've got now, you can blame Stormy for that partly. But also YouTube keeps me very busy. I mean, making 6 pieces a week, and then doing Sultans on Saturdays besides, keeps you occupied. It definitely keeps the insanity at bay, mostly. Just seeing if I can get one of the flycatchers to come close. But, and Sasquatch says I'm good. Okay, I appreciate that. But, yeah, I keep meaning to catch a Chilling with Sasquatch at some point and pop in, but I don't spend a lot of time awake at that hour, so, yeah, I tend to be an early guy. And Stormy is right. She is my biggest fan, my greatest cheerleader, and she does keep me on my toes. But it is an absolutely beautiful day. And there was no way I was going to coop myself up in the house all day. If you're wondering, some of the bird calls you guys can hear are, let me see, those would be swallows. There's a crow. Oh, you're about to hear an ATV start. And the other high-pitched one you're hearing is a flycatcher. That's a little bird about yay long, gray and white, gray with a white under. Let's see here. YouTube interactions on the low rumble seems to be more active. You're right about that, Prime. It does seem to be more active. There's a bit of a consensus among a lot of us that Rumble is actually inflating their numbers, where YouTube seems to be deflating certain creators. Sasquatch says he's doing a live voice production of The Wizard of Oz. Awesome. That's cool. When you've got that done, by all means, shoot me a link, and I will happily promote that on my Sunday stream. There was a guy called Illuminatus, I think, on Discord was talking about something he was doing. My wispy beard. Get you tucked up there. But he was talking about doing a some sort of art piece. I can't remember if it was a book or an audio book or what it was he was doing, but I'm very happy to promote a creator on my stuff as well, because no, it's the new voices that make the biggest difference. I'm laughing at my beard, are you total? But yeah, the part of the reason I keep doing the streams and keep doing what I do is because every time I discover somebody new, I like to promote them, because I mean, with the way Hollywood and the mainstream stuff is going, it's, I mean, Yiz isn't wrong, right? You guys all know who Yiz the Eunuch is. Oh, I'm sorry. Sasquatch said he was Oz the Great and impotent. I read that as important. But yeah, the Iron Age guys like Razor Fist and guys like that, they don't need my promotion. I will promote them when I see them produce something new. Mostly because, if they happen to hook to my stuff, their audience will blow mine up intensely. Sasquatch just posted a link, youtube.com, Scully's House of something. I'm not sure what that is, but I will check it. Throw it in the comments as well on the stream, and I will absolutely check that. When the stream cuts off, I have YouTube set up that it will automatically make it private, but as soon as I get a chance to get to the computer, and now I'm back. Scully's House of Thrillers, excellent. I don't know how much of that you guys actually missed, but I will say it again. Sask, if you think about it, do throw it into the comments. I was explaining how YouTube is set up on my system to automatically go private once the stream is over. Partly that's to avoid reviewer grabbing me and punishing me for something. It's also partly because sometimes I like to put, well, when I do streams with this tablet, or sorry, when I do videos with this tablet, I always want to put a thumbnail on them now. Excuse me, because bullying works. And my friends bullied me until I did that. But also, just watching a cat stalk one of those flycatchers. No, you missed that. Missed a comment there. Blackout says he's in a retirement info meeting at work while he's listening to this. I guess I'm less boring than the info. Say hi to your coworkers for me. Get them to subscribe. Let me see. We did kind of bully you into starting your channel as well, Blackout. But to be fair, you're probably blowing all of us away for subs by this point. You're certainly kicking my ass in content. And you have really good content. It's something that should be shared. Stormy, I know, loves them, and I really enjoy them as well. And, you know, look at Chris, for example, Christopher Everard. I was very happy to promote him. I suggested he contact Magog and Yiz, and both of them had him on. So almost at 900. Good God, kicking my ass all over the shop. To be fair, I'm closing on 500. So actually, I think I'm probably somewhere past 500 when you add up the Rumble exclusives and the short things that I've done. Not particularly worried about it. In about 16 more subs, I'll be doing a 240 sub special because I like odd numbers. Okay. Yeah, at least one of Stormy's kids likes your stuff as well. Anyway, back at it. Now, let's see. Okay. That bench has to move. Scrap tabletop, I have use for that. Lift that up. That'll do for now. Put that together this week. Let's see. Come outside. that needs to get tied up. Now I have that green tarp that just came up from under that bench there. Needs to get tied up and put away. That's another item I use for various things on occasion. I really ought to put my phone away. Especially considering I'm kicking up dust now. Where can I put that for safekeeping? That'll do sitting right there. Let's see. So yeah. All I'm going to do with that tarp is roll it up and throw a line around it to, I guess I could show you guys what I'm actually doing with my hands. I'm just taking a turn in the line, making a quick slip knot. It's the easiest way to tie up something that's kind of floppy. Ironically, I can usually tie these knots with my gloves on, but today I don't feel like trying. And well, you don't have to melt the ends. It's not a bad idea to seal them up, keep them from fraying out. Not a great job, but it'll do. And the other end then, I'll just put a small pair of knots in for the sake of grippiness. Or a small knot, rather. And it's just a wrap 3 times around. I'll take it tight. And the same thing, just because this is nylon line, braided nylon, it's very easy to get it to melt. The fumes are toxic, so if I was not doing this in a fairly well ventilated room, I would not be risking it. But that's it. Very simple little device for sealing up the tarp. And this one is intensely dirty because it's covered in sawdust. And I don't know. Oh, there's my brush. Oh, I could have used that, I suppose, but 5 seconds ago. And the whole point of the knot, oh, I forgot to angle my camera back again. Sorry about that. So, just to show you what I'm doing. The whole point of the knot being on this end is that it makes it a lot easier to slip it through on that end. And then all you really have to do is bring it over. You can draw this pretty much as tight as you want. Then you're just wrapping it around, drawing it through, and then it's just a simple matter of tying it off. Now you have 2 choices when you go to take these off, of course. You could just cut them loose, which, given the relative inexpensiveness of nylon rope, is an option. But if you want to be particularly frugal, you could always just untie it. And that goes up here. There we go. Now, bring the camera angle back up where it should be. That's not bad. Let's see. Stormy says she started sketching again because of all you talented people. Yes, and I do say that Stormy should do more because her work is also very, very good. If you guys are on the Sultans Discord, you can see her stuff on the art wall. And Stormy says she loves art, but she was never into showing a lot of her own. She has talent. She really does. And yeah, if you're still doing minis, that's also something you should have a look at, or consider putting on the Sultans Discord. They have an entire Warhammer section, if that's the sort of minis you're doing. And yeah, we absolutely are good at promoting our friends because, well, if our friends do well, there's always the chance that they'll help us do better. And that's always been my attitude. You know, if you're going to be a friend, you should be a good one. Okay, I'm not liking where that camera's sitting right now, so I'm going to actually lift up my tablet a little bit and tighten that anchor down so that I don't have to bend over to put my face on camera to talk to you guys. Oh, still very sniffly. And the dust I'm kicking up is not helping. Now, that K is a project for later. Now, that's there. I have a bunch of, because I don't use screws very often, I tend to save screws that I pull out of things, especially if they're straight. If they're bent any real amount, they're gone. But I do try to save screws where I can. I've purchased a few in the past as well, but use them so rarely for anything other than hanging things up that I don't bother with them. Most of my work is usually all wood. That can go up here for now, just to get it out of my way. And I have some more wood up here that I need to pull down anyway. That's my angle block. I wondered where that went. What else have I got up there? No. Okay. So for now, those will sit there. This is another piece of reclaimed wood. I'm not sure what this came off of, but it looked to me, if I remember correctly, like these screw holes right here only went into about here. So this entire piece, this length, once I get all of this flaw out of it, I should be able to use it for something. And I considered at one point trying to do a bit of epoxy pour into that to see if I could make something pretty, but I don't think it's really worth my time. Epoxy is not something I work with a lot, so. Oh, that's not good. I just discovered a significant amount of mold on this piece of wood here, so that's going to have to go. There is a problem with this shed. The way it was originally constructed on the outside, it caused it to hold water, somewhat like a sponge, so there's a significant amount of mold in here. One of the things I did last year was to make sure that the area where the mold is was exposed to the sun as much as possible. It doesn't seem to have grown any over the winter, but it's not shrinking either. So eventually I'm going to have to get a different shed to work in. I see I'm back up to 4. Did someone new come in, or? Oh, okay. Let's see. Blackout says he hasn't done many minis recently. He's going to have to do some, or he has some he needs to do. If you're doing commission work on those, apparently you can make a shit ton of money, from what I understand. I know somebody on Sultans earlier today posted, or possibly last night, maybe in the last week. It's been a while since I was feeling up to being on Discord any length of time. But somebody had posted that a client had asked them to do a mini for, I think it was 10 euros. And basically what they got for that was a matte yellow cover. But yeah, I'm always disturbed by how many people seem to have such a low, let me see if I can get that There we go. I'll just hold still. I'm always disturbed by how many people don't understand what labor actually costs outside of, places that use slave labor like China. For example, I have a cutting board that I made a while ago, which is solid maple, heirloom quality, with a food safe oil finish, and properly cared for, that thing will last probably 30 years. And when I tried to sell it for $150, rather than the $300 it's actually worth, I was told, oh, I can go to Walmart and buy something like that for $30. Yes, and then next year you'll have to do it again. Next year after that, you'll have to do it again. And every year for 10 years. So eventually, by the time the $300 that's worth is spent, you will have gone through so much wood that you'd be better off getting that anyway because your grandkids could use it. But we live in a throw-it-away society. Hopefully that's going to start to change. And I think it will as the price of things goes up and up and up, that people will eventually get to the point. Let me just see if I can block some more of that. There we go. I think people will eventually get to the point of realizing, this throw-it-away thing that we have, it's not doing anyone any good. For the environmentalists, they should be concerned about it because if I take one tree, make 6 products that last 300 years, that last 30 years, and someone else takes 30 trees to make a dozen products that last 5 years, where's the savings? Let's see. Stormy says she's crocheting a blanket now. When I sell them, I underprice them because I would never get the money for the time work I put into them. We will talk about putting those online at some point, Stormy, because blankets are much easier to ship internationally than, say, model swords or replica swords, for example, or long pieces of wooden work. The weight and the fact that you can package them way differently. Where did I put my gloves? There we are. Okay. That thing definitely has to go. It didn't molder back there, so that's good news. Okay. Ooh. May have done a bad turn to the bandsaw. Doubtful it's in a pretty good box. I'll be back again in a moment. I have to go get my planer. Remember, kids, lift your legs, not your back. Whew. That planer is a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. I think with that, I'm going to take an extended break after this. Come on down here. There we go. Ooh. Let's see what's going on in chat. Sasquatch says international blankets may be considering how the natives might feel about it. Stormy says somebody threw paint on her stuff because she was selling too cheap. I don't agree with that, obviously, but Sasquatch wants to know if those blankets are discounted. I don't think she has them anymore. But yeah, that planer was a lot heavier than I expected it to be. Yeah, I mean, I've seen pieces similar to that cutting board I was mentioning earlier. That people will sell for $14, $15, and I've approached them digitally and mentioned to them that they're underselling. And the response I got from one fella was, "Well, I just do this as a hobby, and I'm just not really interested in making all that much money." And I pointed out to him that I understand he's just doing it as a hobby, but there are people who do it as a living or try to make a living at it. And with his pricing, he's not even making back the cost of his materials, let alone any labor cost. And his response was basically, "Well, what's it to you?" And my point was, if you're making quality work, you don't sell it cheap. You sell it for a reasonable price. Excuse me. And so apparently I've reached the part of the day where the internet goes to shit here in Newfoundland, and gotten disconnected a couple of times. I may have been disconnected while I was out of the room. I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is just get the scrap stuff that I've got piled in one corner. I've got it currently piled against the door. I'm going to get that moved, and I won't be racking it up today, but I'll do that. That'll be the last thing I'll do now on this stream. I think I've been going for almost an hour and a half. So yeah, once this is done, I'll be... So anyway, I'm going to get this stuff tidied up, get it over to one side, and then I'll be shutting the stream down because I'm having problems staying connected anyway. Once that's done, then I'll be shutting the stream down. I think I'm getting a little scatterbrained too. I'm a little tired now. And yeah, so I'll do that now. You guys can watch that. That'll be the last thing I'll do this... Well, I was going to say this morning, but I've been going since the morning, and it's now significantly into the afternoon. So I will get that little bit done. And all I'm going to do is the stuff that's over there against the door is going to get moved. And I have to work out where I'm going to put a lot of this scrap wood. I may very well do a rack probably in this corner behind me, and just move the miter saw out of there. And I may have to start holding the miter saw stand and just moving it out of the way on a fairly regular basis. Speaking of which, I actually need to do a new stand for them, or a new platform for the miter saw for sitting on the stand, because it's not, it's on a thin piece of plywood, which is kind of starting to warp, And the last time I did some cutting, it seemed like it wasn't as stable as it should be. It wasn't giving me the straightest cuts. To be fair, it's a very old saw, so and a very beaten up saw. If you've seen it in any of my videos, you know there's not even a safety guard on it, which is really a bad thing, but keeps you alert for sure. Anyway. Let's get that stuff moved, and then I'm done for the day. Or at least for streaming for the day, anyway. And, yeah, if you guys know anybody who'd like to or sponsor me for material or tools, let me know. And like I say, I have a Subscribestar and a PayPal. I hate the e-begging shit, but I will do it because, well, I'm a poor bastard and I need the money. Anyway, off we go. Oh, speaking of talented artists, this picture here, which you can't really see. Let me turn on the light, maybe that'll shed a bit of illumination on that. This picture here of the dragon with the soccer ball is actually one of Stormy's kids' pieces of work, and she's actually really good as well. She's pretty young doing artwork, but like Stormy, she's clearly got talent. Okay, that can stay like that for... No, it can't. Okay. You need to come up here so I can pack stuff there. Now this has a break in it, so I need... My saws are out of reach, so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. There we go, that's a lot neater. And I maintain my position that nothing should be more terrifying to a vampire than a woodworker. Speaking of which, at some point, I do intend to pick up some teak. And for those of you who are old school comic book fans, you might remember that Blade used to carry teak daggers in his original 70s, 80s getup. I'm thinking I'll do a few reproduction daggers just for shits and giggles. That and the fact that there's a new Blade movie coming out might be worth it. no. Okay. Quiet. This belongs. Oh, okay. I have a screw there that needs to be loosened. There we are. There we are. Actually, I don't think I'll leave those closed. Just come out of there. Okay. Yeah, and with that, guys, other than having the one piece of somewhat moldy wood, you can see the black on that side, which is going to be cut off about here. It's one of the reasons I don't like, well, let's call it manufactured sheet goods. I'll be cutting that off later and potentially using this as part of a stand, because much as I dislike sheet goods, it's generally more dimensionally stable, and when you're building a platform for something, you definitely need dimensional stability. Other than that, I'm pretty much done for the day, or for this anyway. That box has to come in. And there we go. So, about the shop is clear. I'll probably do a couple more of these over the next few days. Other than that, you know, I appreciate you guys being here, and hopefully you guys didn't miss too much with the disconnection things from YouTube. Beyond that, the only thing left to say is, again, thank you for being here, and I hope you're having good days. I hope you continue to have good days, and rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.